Hi, Facebook friends. How are you? It's a beautiful sunny day here in Austin, Texas. We're going to do a nice gentle grounding practice today for all of you. So you want to have your yoga mat, your 2 towels, and a chair for today. We're actually going to start laying on your back with a chair. So we are going to sit on our mat. And again, we're going to do a little gentle grounding practice today. You'll want to have 2 towels, which we always do, and these are Costco beach towels that are the same size as a yoga mat. We're first going to do a variation on legs up the wall, and so you can either use a chair. I'm going to use one of my deck chairs. I could also have used this post, but it's just not in the right spacing for what I need to do. But let's put our legs up the wall with a little bit of padding underneath your hips. And if you would like padding underneath your shoulders, we can likewise put some padding there. So we're going to ground a little bit today. So we'll start with a very simple inversion, just called legs up the wall. Hopefully you guys don't fall asleep doing this one. But we can put a little blanket underneath hips and another blanket underneath the head and rearrange if necessary. I am going to bring my hips as close to the wall or the chair as possible, and then I'm going to kick up my legs either onto that chair or they'll be kicked up the wall, okay? And then I'm going to lay back and reach my shoulders underneath me and keep my chest broad and feel the edges of the floor with my spine. And now from here, I am going to elongate my breath. And notice the inhalation and the exhalation. Notice as you're breathing, if the breath feels forced or it's not easy to inhale, or maybe there's tightness along the spine or in the neck. Just notice it, don't judge it, and try and breathe into those spaces. Just breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And so notice the sounds that are around you in your home, or in my case on my porch. And notice the sounds of the air or the breeze or the birds. And again, breathe into those spaces. Continue to focus on the inhalation and the exhalation as you have your legs up the wall or on your chair. The most important thing to do is to focus on the inhale and the exhale right now. Taking a few more slow, deep breaths, we're going to add some gentle movement to this. Inhale, and move your feet if they're up the wall. You're going to move them halfway down the wall. If your feet are on a chair, you're going to move the heels to the end of a chair. And so we're going to gently just pick up the hips a little bit by pressing into the wall or digging the heels into the chair. And exhale slowly. And let the hips roll down. Inhale here. Exhale, tuck hips up. Gently pressing the wall. And release back down. So just doing a little bit of lower back massage. Inhale. Exhale, press heels into the chair and tuck the pelvis towards you. And exhale. Now we'll reverse the breath. Inhale here at the bottom. Exhale, tuck pelvis up and tuck in. Inhale on the way down. Exhale, tuck under. And take 3 more deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale, tuck hips under. Inhale on the way down. Exhale, tuck under. Inhale on the way down. And exhale, tuck under. Inhale on the way down. Exhale, tuck under. Inhale. Last one. Now release the hips down and bring the heels closer together. We're going to allow the knees to roll out and in a little bit. So we're going to move those hips using the wall for a little bit of support. Outwards and inwards. Now if you want to, you can even extend the legs up a little bit and make a little bit of a circle. So even with the chair, so open and shut and extend, open and shut and extend. So you can use the edges of the chair to help support you, or the wall to support you, or take those legs in the air. I'm just doing a gentle circles with the hips and the knees, out and in, and then we'll change direction. Out and in. And those hips to move, hamstrings to stretch. And deep breath in. And exhale. And then place those legs back on the wall. We'll take a few more deep breaths and see if that feels a little bit better. We're going to start incorporating the upper body just a little bit. Placing the legs up the wall can be a way of re-energizing your body. It seems very strange to do that, but the blood flow goes from the legs to the heart center and the brain. In addition, it's a little bit soothing to be on your back. It's a gentle inversion. In fact, this position can be used in times when we're in shock, to help calm the body down and to also help restore central circulation when we're frantic or lightheaded. Just find your breath once again. Gentle inhales and exhales. Four more deep, slow breaths. Focusing the attention on the belly to the rib cage to the collarbone movement. Inhale and pause and exhale from the collarbones to the rib cage through the abdomen. Let all the air out. Inhale. And pause. And exhale. Collarbones, ribcage, belly all the way out. Inhale. And pause. Exhale all the way out. Inhale. Exhale all the way out. Inhale. Exhale all the way out. And now we're going to repeat a similar sequence. This time I'd like you all to move away from the wall just a little bit. So we have a little bit more space. We're going to make the movements a little bigger. So we'll move from those legs from up the wall to down into the chair. And again, this time we're going to actually try and bridge. So we may need to scoot down a little bit. Now if the shoulders are kind of tight, you can actually move the other towel in so that it's the edge of your shoulders. You want to have the back side of the head flat on the ground. Heels are either pressing in and down on the wall, okay, or down into the chair by digging in. So we'll do a deep breath in. Exhale, tuck and lift and raise up a little bit. And then lower all the way back down. Inhale, exhale, press into the chair, tuck under, lift up. Roll the shoulders back, release the head and neck, and then roll all the way back down. So it's like a mini, almost a shoulder standing movement. In some forms of yoga, like the Shivananda tradition, they actually start with a shoulder stand to help ground you. Now that might not be great for everyone's head and neck. So we can do a little variation just by promoting a little bit of gentle activity through a little bit steeper inversion. Only go to the point where you feel comfortable. Try and keep your abdomen and your glutes pretty tight so we're coming up rather than using the back. We're using those hamstrings and the buttocks to do that. 2 more times. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, pressing down. Inhale. And exhale. Roll shoulders open, tuck under, press the shoulders into the floor, and then roll back down. Now, put those heels together on the wall again, and we're going to circle the hips again. So I'm going to roll in and out, either from here, or if you would like to make this bigger, we can roll in, slide up the wall, open. So use the wall for your feet if you want to, or you can take them away from the wall, your choice. But what we want is to gently draw circles in the air with those hips, getting them to move a little bit, getting them to stretch a little bit, but adding a little dynamic movement to this. Continue to make sure that you're taking deep, slow breaths. Inhale and exhale. Now we'll change direction. Opening up, come on up, together and down. Open up, come together and come down. Inhale, open, together, back down. Concentrate on keeping the back on the ground. Inhale. Nice fluid breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then again, it may be a little bit different pacing, but really concentrate on an even flow of inhalation and exhalation right now. And from here, we're going to bring knees to chest. And then relax. Taking a deep breath in, we're now going to add a little bit of upper body component. So we'll place hands on the knees, and we can use the wall or the chair as a little stopping point for our knees so that we don't overarch the back as we do this. We're going to do a little bit of what I like to call a cannonball movement. This one helps to open up the nervous system. In addition, it helps to stretch the back and the spine and the back of the neck and shoulders, in addition to the lower back. So what you'll do is you'll inhale here. You'll kind of press against the wall, making sure that the back is on the ground as the rib cage. So you'll inhale here, exhale, roll in and tuck. Inhale, roll back to the floor, exhale, tuck chin to chest, peel off the floor with the hips as well as the shoulders. And then inhale, let the hips drop and roll the shoulders back down. Big breath in. Exhale, chin to chest, cannonball. And inhale. Exhale, tuck chin to chest, knees to chest. Inhale, open up. Exhale, tuck chin to chest. Rolling down the spine, supporting on the wall. Rolling that head and neck down. Inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, knees to chest. Inhale. Exhale, chin to chest and tuck. Inhale. And exhale, chin to chest. Now, placing one foot on the wall and releasing down, we'll now do this alternating sides. And we're then going to move into some kind of heart, more grounding movements as well. So inhale, we'll reach one leg up. You're going to actually tuck chin and just gently roll the hands up the leg. So you're giving yourself a little bit of a gentle massage from the heel down, and it's just a little bit of light fingertip pressure. So it's helping to stimulate a little bit of lymph as well as nervous system. So we're doing gentle inhale and exhale. Or exhale here and inhale. Choose the breath pattern that you feel most comfortable with. Try it both ways. What's important is that it shouldn't feel as though the breath is being forced out of you in one way or the other. The breath should flow naturally, and it shouldn't feel like you have to hold the breath at any point. I'm going to continue for about 30 more seconds. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And 2 more deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And now lay back for just a moment. Come back to your breath and rebound with the legs up the wall or the chair. Just softening, making sure that the back is supported by the floor. And come back to your breath for a minute. And notice the sensations of the last few movements that we've done. Just notice them. Continuing to breathe deeply. Now, inhale and bring awareness back to where you are. we are going to change positions. Bring knees to chest into that cannonball one more time. And from here, gently hold the fronts of the shins right below your kneecaps and roll a little side to side. We're going to try and roll as though we're a cannonball, meaning we're trying to keep our hips and shoulders together. And roll just a little bit. Inhale and exhale. And now we're going to ground the upper body on the floor. So inhale in the middle, exhale rolling down. We're going to open the arms to the sides and now move the rib cage separately from the knees. So bring the knees out just a little bit, maintain a little bit of tension through the lower belly, lengthen the spine, and we're going to rotate the hips side to side while keeping the shoulders on the floor. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the other side. Getting a little bit of movement through the spine. Mine is popping just a little bit. Inhale to the center. Exhale across. Inhale to the center. Exhale across. If you'd like to add a little bit more to this, you can always extend the legs and come back into the center. Extend the legs if you're up to it. We don't want to be straining or straining the breath. If the shoulders are tight and you're unable to hold them on the ground, when we move to one side, we can gently allow the hand to touch the rib cage, drawing the shoulder blade back where we can to keep the chest and the heart center open. Inhale to the center. So when we come to the other side, just trying to roll a little bit. Now, we're going to add a little bit different movement with the upper body. So coming to the center. If I roll to my right side, I'm going to take my left arm overhead and try and circle, and then come back to the middle. So as I roll to the left side, my right arm is going to try and circle, and then come back to the center with an exhale. So we'll do that again. Inhale, and exhale. Bring that hand to the center. Come open and inhale. And exhale, come to the center. Roll open, inhale. Exhale, come to the center. Roll open, inhale. And exhale. Rolling open. And exhale. Rolling open. And exhale. Now, from here, pause in the middle, and we'll roll completely over onto hands and knees. So we're going to roll over. I think the camera blew over just a little bit. Hang on. All right, so coming to hands and knees. You want to be in a position where we are either reaching to the wall or the chair, okay? And again, I can use this wall as well if I wanted to, but you can't really see me. So I have another wall back here that I can push off of a little bit. What we want to try and do is get some grounding, and you can either ground with the toes on the chair and press back through the heel, which I'll show you in just a moment. So you're going to press toes down a little bit, and hopefully there's a little padding, and then just reach the heel back as we do this. So I'm pressing through. So it'll be a supported bird dog or a fire hydrant. The fire hydrant section will come in the middle. But what I'd like you to do first is just support. Shoulder blades are down, belly button is in, holding. And now again, you can also support just with the foot on a wall or a post, okay? So from here, inhale and exhale. Establish your breath. Now I'm positioning my hands. If your wrists get sore, we want to keep the wrists reasonably neutral, okay? What I mean by that is we don't want to break completely at the wrist. If the wrists are sensitive, you can always put fists down on the mat, or you can make a teepee with the hands. Draw the shoulder blades back. Trying to hold, tailbone tucked under, spine long, leg extended. Now we're going to draw that knee away from the wall and release back out. And draw the knee away from the roll. Now if this feels like, oh my gosh, holy hamstrings, Batman, let's add a little bit more movement so that we can kind of open it up a little bit. So what I'd like you to do is just draw that knee in, and then inhale, touch your wall or chair. Exhale, tuck knee to chest. Inhale, touch the wall. Exhale and inhale. Most important part is to make sure that you are moving and breathing. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. And then hold at the wall. Now we'll try that again. So draw that heel in and exhale, touch. Inhale and touch. Inhale and touch. Inhale and touch. And release down to all fours. Knees are hips distance. And we'll move into a moving child's pose to see how that felt. Move the breath how it feels natural to you, and just notice the difference between each side. And sinking back and exhaling forward. Now we'll change sides and do the same thing. So again, stabilizing in the front, and if you need to, even use your towels under your hands to help provide padding, but try and keep that wrist as neutral as possible. And what I mean by that is when we look at the wrist bone, we want to try and have, as that bone comes into the wrist itself, it's almost as though the meat of the thumb and the fingers then frame the other side, as opposed to moving one way or the other, okay? So it's almost like as if, you know, the hand were hanging. We want to try and replicate that, okay? So we don't put too much stress on them. All right, so going to the other side. So again, we're gonna find our spacing away from the wall or chair. So I have like a leg length away. We're gonna try what this feels like first. So drawing in and out. Inhale and exhale. Trying to open up the hips, opening up the front sides of the thigh, but also stabilizing with the torso and the shoulders. Keep your neck as an extension of your spine. Gaze is centered between, kind of as though you have a tripod on the floor, where the nose is, you're just looking straight ahead, and the hands are then just below that to either side. Now, that feels a little tight, or that hamstring's like, no, I can't handle that just yet. We're gonna draw, exhale, knee in, inhale, touch back. Exhale, and inhale. Exhale, inhale. Exhale, and inhale. Exhale. And inhale, exhale, inhale. Two more, exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale. Holding steady. Now we'll try that again. We'll do 5 like that. It should feel a little easier to do. Keeping the hips as level as possible. Inhale and exhale. And now release that knee down. Knees are hips distance apart. Toes can be up or flat, whichever you feel most comfortable with. And roll from, fan the hands out wide, and move from child's pose back to a little bit of a stretchy up dog. do as much movement or as little movement as your body is allowing you to do with maintenance of that deep breath. And so gauge that according to you. It may be just kind of a simple rocking forward, rocking back, right? For those of you Ashtangis or power fans, you may want to kind of really extend and really roll all the way back. And even use the wall and the base of the chair to help provide kind of a little bit of support. Take another 30 seconds to do this. And it doesn't really need to take any concrete shape at this point. We just want to get that body open and moving without any harsh movements one way or another. And being very mindful of how we move and how we breathe. And then coming back to our mat, we're going to come to a seated position. And just sit for just a moment and see how we feel. And so finding your breath again. And do a few more grounding movements into some yin poses. So now that we've kind of opened up the hips and the upper thighs, we're going to do a movement called cat chasing tail. And we haven't, this one's a little complicated. I'm going to hopefully try and convey it as best I can online. I may need to move the camera so you can actually see it better from above. But I'll explain it first, and then if you guys can type a little bit, if you can't see it, I'll just try and move the camera just a little bit and repeat it. So for cat chasing tail, what we're actually going to do here is we'll come a little bit away from the wall, but we're going to use one foot on the wall for this. Normally, this is on your back, knees are bent, and we start from one side, okay? We will take your top leg and extend it out. And so the top leg can actually be on the wall, okay? Or it could be on a block out in front of you. Now, we're going to open our chest towards the sky, okay? And take the bottom leg and hold on to it. So you're going to open up the palm, turn the thumb out, and grab that leg beneath you, okay? Holding that leg straight, bent, and the other leg out. Again, it can be resting on your chair. It could be resting, we may need to move the chair. Maybe you want to put the foot like this. It could be straight out in front of you. It could be on a block or a pillow, okay? And then we're going to just gaze. You can gaze backwards or straight up and down or ahead of you, wherever you feel comfortable. And then breathe into the spaces in the hips and the thighs. Now, if you're not flexible enough to grab your foot, you can leave that foot on the ground and just try and open the arm, okay? If the shoulders are super tight, we place the hand at the rib cage. And so, I guess you guys can see. So, it might look a little complicated. So what we're going to try and, let me see if I can convey it a little bit better. So, again, starting from knees on side. We start there, reach top leg forward, tuck back leg under. You're trying to reach back. Now you can use a yoga strap here on the back foot if you have one. Then I'm going to open up my rib cage and pause and just breathe here. So we're going to be here for about 3 minutes. This is one of those things that doesn't look that groovy on a video, but you can really feel it once you get a basic understanding of what this pose is. So again, we're in cat chasing tail. Deep breaths in and out. And as we breathe, I want you to try and relax by about 25% each minute. So try and let go of the tension and try and relax your breathing a little bit. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And trying to slow the breath and try and settle the body into that pose by releasing into the pose rather than clenching into the pose. In yin, when we hold poses, we want to be doing the opposite of the active practices. We're actually trying to move more towards release. And it takes a little while in each of these poses to hold them to allow for that release. If you're a runner, we know that the first mile is always the hardest, kind of where we settle in, where we warm up, right? Well, think of each minute, the first minute of the pose, being almost that way of the body, kind of getting understanding of where it is in space. And laying down the breath work and getting the body where it should be. Now, mind you, these poses are meant to really get you to realize where there may be endpoints or tension, where we can bring our breath and then likewise try and release it conscientiously. Also be compassionate at the same time. Try not to get frustrated in it. Instead, try and use your breath to help to calm the muscle to release a little bit. And for many of us, that can be the hardest part of all. But it's okay. It's all about developing an awareness of where we're holding our breath and possibly our tension, or maybe even emotional stress that's been lodged into muscles. And take 4 more deep breaths in this pose on this side. Now, on an inhale, we want to come out of it just as carefully as we went into it. So release the hand or the strap first and let that leg come back beneath us. Take the hand and almost roll forward, okay? Almost like you're kind of coming into a sleeping position. Draw the other leg right on top of the other and pause for a moment. Support your head with your hands. And breathe there for about 30 seconds. I don't want to hold you there too long. We need to do the other side. Take conscious, slow breaths. Now, using your top hand, press down into the floor and come up slowly. We're going to roll to the other side. I'm actually going to go to the opposite end of my mat with this one so that you guys can see how I get into it from the other side. So, you're going to be on the opposite hip. Knees are bent. And we'll start initially from our side. Tuck the shoulder under. What we'll do then, reach the top leg out in front of you. And this can be, again, on the chair, or it can be on the wall, okay? Or it can just be on a block out in front of you if you have a block. I've been known to use 2 pillows underneath my knees. You could even use, and this is going to be a silly prop, but I have them out here, a brick. So it's just not soft like a yoga block. My yoga blocks are inside. But I can actually place that right here. And now with the bottom leg, I will bend the leg, reach back with my top hand. I'm going to spin the thumb open so that thumb is kind of towards my head. Palm is going to go up to the sky. I'm rotating my upper arm bone outwards and grabbing the back side of my foot and then allowing my hand to cradle the foot. Now, if you're not that mobile, you can place a strap around the foot and hold it that way, okay? Or just let the foot with the knee slightly bent, right? Reach on the floor. Now, with that top hand open, I'm going to just lay back and hold. And so my gaze can be ahead of me. Now, I am really tight on this side versus the other. So I'm going to let my leg drop and the top knee bend a little bit so that I have a little bit more movement available to my right side or to the side that's on the ground. Now come back to your breathing. Try and extend the spine. Try and open the shoulders and that the bottom hip. And again, that first minute again is always the hardest. It's kind of where you notice, oh my gosh, I'm really tight there. Or it may be that something tries to cramp, right? In which case, just fidget a little bit and see if you can settle into the pose. Most important is to bring awareness to the breath and awareness to where that tension lies. Now realize we don't want to be at any endpoint that is painful or bunching or pinching feeling. If you do feel something like that, try and support something. Like I fractured this hip last year and it's starting to feel a little bunchy, okay, or kind of pinchy. So I'm going to bend my knee a little bit and soften that a little bit so there's less weight on my hip. So just fidget a little bit, and everyone is going to look a little different in here. Everyone's bodies are different, thankfully. Just like this coronavirus hits everybody a little differently. But we don't know enough about it to really be able to give good information. Just know that it's very contagious. And so just breathe into the pose and try and release about 25% of the tension in this next minute. Focus on slowing down the breath. Try and soften the face and the jaw. And continue to take deep, slow breaths and see if you can let go of some of the tension in the shoulders and the spine and the chest. Taking slow, deep breaths. 4 more deep breaths. Now releasing the bottom hand. And just let the leg go. Bring that top hand up and around. And gently bringing your spine back to a neutral position. We'll take the top leg and stack it on top of the other. And then gently rest our head for a moment and rebound. And notice any sensations that you feel from that cat chasing tail pose that we just did. Deep breaths in and out. Now, gently using the top hand to come up to a sitting position. And you can place blocks or towels underneath you and place those feet underneath you. Come to as comfortable a sitting position as you can and feel the breath again. And deep breaths in and out. Notice the breath up and down the spine. Notice how the hips and the shoulders feel. And we feel a little bit more or less open. We'll do one more opener for the spine, and also something that's grounding and a very calming pose. This is our rounded forward fold, which we've done a few times in this practice already. Today we are going to do it for about 2 minutes on each side as a pose called shoelace, which helps to open the hip a little further before we go into a SAVASANA. So you'll extend your legs out in front of you. Now if your hamstrings are super tight, you can roll a towel underneath you. And then likewise, roll a towel underneath on the other side. Now what we're going to do is try and cross one leg over, okay? So we'll open up one hip and place that foot on the opposite knee. And it's ideal, and you may want to put the towel over the thigh with this, if you get that top edge of the leg bone on the opposite leg above the knee. And then we are going to allow that knee to drop, okay? Now, if you can, you come into kind of a half lotus, but that's not possible for a lot of us. So we'll add a little bit of padding underneath that knee. Open up the knees just a little bit. And so we're in a position where one foot is on top of the other leg and where the other leg is straight. Now, you can also bring that foot on the inside edge of the knee if it's really hard to put the foot on the top edge of it. So you can just place the foot gently around the knee that way instead. Now from here, we're going to round forward then into this shoelace pose. And I do want you to actually round the back and release the head and neck. And just kind of feel how that affects the hip, the IT band. If you have a roller or a block, you can place that block on the opposite ankle or utilize the roller for support, or better yet, you can also do this beneath your chair. Okay, so we can place that foot underneath the chair with the head rounded forward. Allow the head to release forward. If you want, you can stack those elbows on the chair and let the hands come up. Now allow the head to sink in between the upper arm bones. And follow your breath, inhaling and exhaling. Now inhale, gently raise the upper body, and we'll switch to the other side. So you roll the knee in, and again, remember, we may be doing this without the chair, right, with a little bit of support. We may be doing this with the foot to the inside edge of the leg with chair support, and ideally, you get that foot underneath the chair. Elbows on the chair, and then release the head and neck forward. You want to have the chair far enough away from you though that you're allowing your the underside of the shoulder to open up and the head and neck to release in this, and release down. And so remember, that first minute is always the hardest. Repeating shoelace on the other side. And try not to pinch your shoulders at all. And you should feel a gentle release through the outer hips and the back side of the leg. Deep breaths in and out. Now releasing the upper body and gently rolling up to a sitting position. We are going to move into Shavasana. So you can do this either with your chair, with the wall, with towels. We want to get in a nice, comfy place where we can just release and take deep breaths and relax completely. So I'm placing blocks or even towels underneath the thighs for a little support. You'll roll down on your back, create even a pillow with one towel, rolling in. You have the option again of placing your legs up the wall if you so choose, or you can bring legs up to the chair. The chair can even come in closer. Chair can even come in a little closer for a little bit more leg support if you want. And the hips can raise if the hamstrings are tight here. And then it'll support the lumbar spine a little bit. And so that towel can be underneath the spine, wherever you feel most comfortable. The key here, there's no right or wrong to this Shavasana. Shavasana just means, it actually means corpse pose. But it's a way of integrating the practice that we did today. And it's important, now even within a restorative practice, to take a Shavasana, even though it feels like we've been laying around the whole class. It's a way of completely letting go of everything. And so in that comfy place, find your breath once again. Place one hand at your belly button And you can place the other at the heart space if you want, or just at the side of the ribs so you can feel the movement of the breath into the heart space and the rib cage space. And notice that breath like a big wave as it rolls in from belly to rib cage to collarbones, and as it recedes into the exhale. Allow the breath just to roll from one hand to the other, without any pressure or holding or forcing in either direction. Focus on a nice, even keel, wavelength-like flow to your breath. And keep feeling the waves of breath. Allow the body to settle into the floor as though it's been cradled by the weight of the earth. So as to allow the breath to rise and fall away from the floor. So the body experiences almost a kind of a freedom about moving the breath. Try not to force overly large breath movements. Instead, allow the breath to stop at the very top and allow the body to pause. And let it go as naturally and as fluid as possible. Let the body completely suspend in the space of your breath. Completely let go for just a few more moments. And take a deep breath in from belly to rib cage to collarbones and pause at the top. Exhale slowly and completely all the way out. And take 2 more deep breaths like that. And gently wiggle the ankles and fingertips and toes. And circling the ankles and wrists and raising the arms up overhead. And then bringing knees into chest. And coming into a cannonball to stretch. And rocking side to side. And gently roll onto one side. And come up to sitting. And come into a nice sitting position. And again, you can support ankles and knees and hips. And after doing a yin or a gentle, sort of more restorative yoga like we just did, it makes for a nice ideal time to meditate as well. These little short or hour-long Facebook classes, once they post to my timeline, they can be even viewed later on or even tomorrow morning. So if you prefer to wake up with a gentler type of yoga, you may wish to try this in the morning and then meditate afterwards. If you have trouble sitting and quieting your mind, you can use an app, say like Headspace or the Calm app. I tend to use Calm during my classes, and also not the meditation portion, but their music. I haven't used it for any of these Facebook sessions, largely because it may get distracting, and I'm not exactly sure how I would do the two at the same time, meaning the video as well as the music. In addition, they are a separate app for me. But anyway, the Calm or the Headspace app can also help you with meditation and for finding stillness amidst all the chaos. So take a few more deep breaths for me and for yourself. And feed that calmness. And notice how you feel. And I thank you all for joining me today and for doing the gentle yoga at lunch break. Note that this is also available for later once it loads. And amidst all this chaos, there's also a very positive side. We're getting back in touch with nature and the outdoors. We're being mindful of others and trying to keep ourselves quarantined so as not to infect others. Please send some intentions out to all of the healthcare workers out there who are working on the front lines. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, y'all. Namaste. Thanks for coming.